Hello there, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi here with another Saber install that I just finished installing. This is a Saberforge Sinister Prophecy. This is the V1 version, if you couldn't tell. The new V2 versions are rolled out relatively recently. I know they came out at some point, but that means the V1s are now no longer in production, so this is the V1 and is therefore technically a discontinued model. But the V2s are still existent, but they look much different. V2s have like a different thing going on with the emitter. It looks the same, but it's like not painted. Painted isn't quite the right word. Heat blasted. That's the word I'm looking for. Heat blasted on the emitter, and then it's also got a shroud as well somewhere around here. Looks really good, I have to admit, but it is definitely very different from the V1. So here it is. This is the V1, and this hilt right here, I've had it for a good long while. I bought it from someone quite a while ago, but when he sold it to me, it was used, and it still is. If I can get a closer look here, hopefully the camera will be nice. Let's see, where's the parts that I'm looking for here? Ah, yes, towards the emitter. Hopefully it focuses, fingers crossed. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it. This isn't exactly a professional movie camera or anything like that, but there are a few scratches here and there on this saber, especially towards the emitter where I'm pointing at it right now, but there's also a few down the line. Oh, and I moved my camera. 1 second. There we go. So yeah, and there are some more scratches and stuff. This was very used. I think the person who had it and gave it to me used it for like dueling and stuff like that. So it's got a decent amount of scratches, I will admit. So there's that. And then this is also, before I forget to mention, this is installed with a CFX, and it's also got the stock V3 Neopixel connector. I've been doing ecos for my past builds, and I don't really know why. I finally decided to make the upgrade, so here it is. This has just the standard V3 Neopixel connector. It looks really good. I really needed it for this saber too because of how far into the hilt the connector actually is. It's like right around here. So if you want like a really long blade plug for this, you'd need really good LEDs, nice bright Neopixel LEDs going on there. So that's why I decided to go with the V3 for this build. Definitely the right call, I think. I don't have a blade plug for it, and will not be selling it with a blade plug because if you can find a blade plug that's that long, good luck. I certainly didn't have one on hand, that's for sure. So yeah, no blade plug this time, unfortunately. But before I blather on too long, let's just fire this bad boy up. So it's a nice yellow. Might look a little orange on camera, I'm not sure. But this is a nice yellow thing, and it looks really good with the windows. I really like the windows on the Sinister Prophecy. It looks really nice. So you got your clashes. Lockups. Find the buttons here. Lockup. Blaster blocks. And obviously power on and power off. So there's that. And before I forget to mention as well, the button that's going on here, very different. The Saber Armory recently came out with a new type of switches that are like a duo switch that are nice for hilts that only have one hole. So if you notice here, the Sinister Prophecy only has one hole for switches. So on this hole, it's got a nice little duo switch thing going on here. And so you'll notice a slit down the middle. That means one half of the button is activation and the other is auxiliary. So for this particular build, it's the top. The top is the power button, and then the bottom is the auxiliary button. So there is that, and I think it turned out pretty well. There's not a lot of feedback to it. It works. The buttons work really well, but there's not a lot of feedback to it. So what I mean to say by that is that it's very easy to hit these buttons. So just a very simple tap will make it come on and off. And you can change those kind of settings with the CFX to include an anti-power on and anti-power off delay, which is really nice. So you can do that in case they're a little touchy for your liking, and I definitely will have to do that. If I were to use the saber for myself, I would definitely do it because that's definitely very touchy buttons we've got here. But they work very well. So anyway, there's that, and so this is again a CFX. And before I forget, I should show you how to actually get the battery and the SD card out of here. So give me 1 second as I get everything ready. So to get the SD card and battery out of this hilt, it's pretty easy. First, you gotta unscrew this pommel here, and it is a little something to mention with Saberforge. If you've never dealt with Saberforge hilts before, sometimes when they cut the metal, they kind of like keep it kind of sharp. So this little edge here, this little wraparound thing going on here, it can be a little sharp if you're not careful. If you like slam your finger against it on accident by like slipping it. while trying to unscrew the pommel. It can slip and you can get like a little cut. I actually did on my ring finger on this hand. I did get a tiny, tiny little cut while trying to unscrew this thing, and my ring finger hit this little, I guess you can call it a shroud, this little shroud part here, and I got a small, tiny little cut. So do be careful about that. Take your time when unscrewing the pommel. Don't try to rush it. So just gonna unscrew this. Excuse me. Takes a bit. There we go. Put that off to the side. You'll notice the speaker down there. And to get it out, it's pretty simple. You just kind of like do it like last time. So if you were familiar with my resilient builds, or if you watched my resilient build, it's pretty much just you put it this way and then you smack your hand against the other hand and then you the chassis comes out. Actually, it came out even better. Or I mean even faster. You didn't even have to slam my hand against my other hand. It just comes out really easy. What's really nice about that is that it's totally tight when you put the pommel on. So if you put the pommel and screw it all in, it's definitely tight and in there. But when you take off the pommel, it comes out very easily. And you'll notice, just like right now, I didn't even have to do any smacking or anything. It just came out simply by me rotating the hilt like this, and it started to pop out a little bit. So once you do that, I didn't even show it off because I didn't have to, thankfully. But naturally, you'd go like this. Oh, I accidentally turned on the power check. Like I mentioned earlier, the buttons are pretty easy to hit, so that might happen every once in a while. So let me actually do this by putting the chassis in again, and just to show you how it might come out, you just have to smack your hand against the other hand, like that, and you'll hear it come out like that. There you go. Pretty simple, very easy this time around. So this is the chassis here, and I made this board here. I covered it in electrical tape just to be safe. I do like all my sabers to be dual worthy, and electrical tape helps with that. So I did wrap it in electrical tape. And on this side, you've got the battery and also the little ribbon here to help you get the battery out. So in order to get the battery out, you just pull on this ribbon here, and you'll be able to knock the battery right out of its socket. Here, I'll show that off right now. There you go. Pretty simple. And then that cuts power to the board, obviously, because there's no battery. And then to get access to the SD card, I'm going to try to zoom in here. Let's see if the camera is nice to me and actually focuses here. It might not. But if you're familiar with CFX, under this little port here, there is the SD card. And you can click down there, get the SD card out. It'll pop out a little bit, and you can get some tweezers or forceps and then bring out the SD card. And then make edits to that SD card. It's pretty easy. I can't do it with the gloves on, so I can't show it on camera, unfortunately, but that's how that works, in case you're wondering. And then when you put the battery back in, make sure to lay it over the ribbon so you can make it easier for yourself to get the battery back out when you need to make more edits, or just to take the battery out to charge it or whatever. Oh, and before I forget, the positive towards the emitter and negative side is towards the speaker. So don't forget about that. Otherwise, you might fry your board, and you never want that, obviously. So let's get that back in there. Get a little closer to the camera here. Actually, 1 second. So yeah, just get your battery, lay it over the lay it over the ribbon, and then there you go. There you go. That's the boot up sound that you heard. And when you put it in, this is very important. The duo switch. Actually, so this chassis here actually goes right under the duo switch, and this duo switch is a very low profile switch, so there's not much screws going on in the back, meaning what I mean to say is it's very short, right? It's very short. It's not taking up much space vertically in the hilt, which is really nice. And because of that, I was able to make the chassis actually go under the switch. So what you want to do is when you put the chassis back in, is actually have it so that it's facing, so here's the duo switch, right? So you want the board to face the duo switch, if that makes sense. So the board is up like this, and it's in the exact same direction as the duo switch, like this. So you push it in, and make sure when you push it in, not to hit the speaker in the middle. Make sure to grab like the sides of the chassis here, so you don't mess up your speaker. That's very important. Just gonna put it in there. There we go. And then once you get it in about here, you can grab your pommel again and then just push it the rest of the way through, because the pommel also doesn't hit the speaker from the middle, which is really nice. So you just push it all the way through. And then once you get it all the way through, you can screw it back on. And it is pretty tight. You'll get some resistance a little bit. Sometimes you'll get a decent amount of resistance when putting the pommel back in. So do be careful about that. There's nothing wrong with you getting resistance. That's a good thing. That just means the chassis is getting nice and secured in there. But just know that if you do get resistance, that's it's not a bad thing. That's what's supposed to happen. So there's that, and then now it's nice and tight, and we can fire up the board again. And there we go. So there's your lightsaber there. Actually, let me show off the switching colors feature, and on this duo switch, it's actually very easy because, like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to hit both switches. So you turn on the saber, and then you hit aux and then activation pretty much at the same time. You could pretty much just do it with one finger, like really easily, because of the duo switch functionality. I'll show you right now. So you turn it on, you'll hear it say Spectrum, and then you can twist the saber. It's called Sinister Prophecy, so I feel like red is pretty fitting here. Didn't set the flash on clash to white for this one, but that's alright. It still gets the point across. So yeah, that's the Sinister Prophecy there, and I'll be having a eBay listing on the description, or in the description, and you can also get it in other ways. You can message me on Discord, and you can also hit up my email. I'll have my email and my Discord tag in the description. You can hit me up through either or, and then ask about the saber, and if you've got any more questions or anything like that, and also if you want to buy the saber. The saber is obviously up for sale, as you can tell from the description and the from the title of this video. This is up for sale, and it'll be going for $375 if you hit me up through Discord or through my email. If you're buying it from eBay, it's probably going to be around like 400-ish, most likely, and the reason that is because eBay's cut of purchases is really hefty, and it really sucks. So I would highly recommend, for your sake and for my sake, to order it either through Discord or through my email. And shipping will be free. Before I forget to mention that too. Shipping is going to be free, so it's just a flat $375, and then you get your hands on this saber. This doesn't come with the blade. It just comes with the hilt and a battery, of course. So you can actually turn it on. So, so yeah, that's going to be it for this install. Hope you guys liked it. I was very proud of how it came out. Really cool looking hilt here. Very, very cool. And the red makes it look really nice as well, I gotta say. I really love it. Oh, like I mentioned earlier, pretty easy to hit both buttons. So you do have to be careful about that. Anyway, so before I go on for too long, that's gonna be it for the saber. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.